the herb garden and the monk's daily life. We have now arrived at one of the most peaceful places in the former monastery, the herb garden. For the Carthusian monks, this was much more than a garden. It was a place of work, reflection, and self-sufficiency. Each monk was responsible for tending his own garden, growing vegetables, herbs, and medicinal plants that supported his simple way of life. The garden also reflected the character of the monk who cared for it. A well-kept garden was often seen as a sign of discipline, patience, and inner order. Plants with a Carthusian heritage. Many different herbs and flowers were cultivated here. Among them are two particularly special plants that still carry the name of the Carthusian order today. The Carthusian rose, the Carthusian pink, a beautiful wild carnation. Both plants have long been associated with Carthusian monasteries and remind us of the monks' close connection with nature. For the Carthusians, the garden was not only a source of food but also a place where they experienced God's creation through quiet daily work. Meals in complete silence. One of the most fascinating features you can see here is the food hatch. The original no longer exists, but the current owner has reconstructed it to show visitors how it once worked. Meals were delivered through this small opening several times a day. Notice that it is built at a right angle. This clever design meant that the monk inside and the lay brother delivering the food never had to look directly at one another. Even during mealtimes, silence and solitude remained undisturbed. It is a small architectural detail, but it perfectly illustrates how seriously the Carthusians followed their rule of contemplation. The monastery wall. If you look at the surrounding wall, you will notice that it is unusually high. Originally, it was much lower. However, after the Peasants' War of 1525, the monastery was considered more vulnerable, and the walls were raised to provide greater protection. The walls were not only intended to defend the monastery from possible attacks. They also reinforced the separation between the quiet world of the monks and the busy life outside. A place of silence. Imagine this courtyard 600 years ago. No conversations. No footsteps except those of a single monk walking slowly back to his cell. No sound except birdsong, the wind, and the ringing of the monastery bell calling the community to prayer. For the Carthusians, silence was not emptiness. It was a way of listening, to God, to nature, and to themselves. Did you know? Unlike many other monks, the Carthusians spent most of their meals alone. Only on Sundays and on the most important feast days did the community gather to eat together in silence while passages from the Bible were read aloud. As we continue our walk through the cloister, we are literally following in the footsteps of the Carthusian monks. Ahead, we will discover more original architectural details, learn how the monastery evolved over the centuries, and uncover one final reminder of the monks who once called this extraordinary place home.